So I'm in Oklahoma and I discovered that they have a cowboy museum. I didn't even know this thing existed, but the ratings are crazy good. It's one of the most popular attractions in the city of Oklahoma City, and let's check it out. Let's see what the big hype is.
Hi, I'm Will. I spent my 20s living in a boring area with not much to do, and so I decided to pack up and travel the world through Airbnbs while working a remote job. I was willing to do whatever it took to live a more fulfilling and enriching life. Join me on my adventure, turmoils, trials, and tribulations.
Now, the Cowboy Museum is actually a lot more spacious and has a lot more inventory than you might think. I thought it was going to be a small museum. However, it had so many things, so many rooms. You could spend at least 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours here before you had to leave. There's just so many displays and so many items here that I couldn't see it all. I mean, this one they carved, it was a carving etched onto that gun from 100 years ago. And yep, that is a Darth Vader beaded art that was done more recently. But as you can see, there's just amazing stuff here. That's a giant wall map of the U.S. Before it got colonized. And there's even this exhibit here which covers some of the cowboy actors and actresses, because the whole Western cowboy genre was the #1 most popular genre for many decades, like from the 20s to the 60s or 70s. So you got to see all sorts of different things in here. Here's more of an exhibit about how they hunted buffalo. They would stalk it and then hunt it from the ground. And there's even a Civil War exhibit with all the evolution of guns during that time. And you just learn so much about the cowboys and how they really are versus how you think they are. And yes, this is the most famous exhibit where they transform a whole area into a town as if you're basically back in those times, in those cowboy times. So this was a really cool exhibit. I recommend going to it first. It's probably the funnest to go to. It's kind of a large museum, so it's a little hard to find. They give you a brochure map at the beginning to help you navigate and find where you want to go. It's a pretty cool area. It almost feels like a little mini cowboy town of some sort, or like a scene out of I don't know. For some reason, it feels like Walking Dead to me, because there is a small town scene in I think season 3 that was very similar. But yeah, it had a few rooms that were really cool, like the bar, and now we're in the sheriff's room, which has a actual prison, coolest prison you've ever seen. It's really kind of like a kind of makeshift prison. That's the better word for it, where the bars are just kind of like its own little cage. So that was pretty cool to see. Not all of the rooms are really open. I would say I've basically shown you footage of the ones that are. Here's a church, and there's also a schoolyard. A lot of the other rooms are just kind of you can see it from the outside, but you can't actually, there's not a door you can open. And of course, there are outdoor exhibits. A lot of the outdoor exhibits were Native American inspired. So there's, as I've learned, there's probably over 100 different tribes across the U.S. and Canada and Mexico before any people came to this country to colonize it. And you just learn a lot about how they lived and all the shelters. And there's a lot of exhibits. I'm not going to show them all here, but I just felt you deserve to see more of it than a little quick snapshot. I think a lot of YouTube videos are just hey, you should check this out, quick snapshot, and then move on. You could probably get a lot of the experience from this video, but seeing it in person is just a more immersive experience. As you can see, these last few clips have been different apparel that the cowboys wore, from hats to boots to belts to saddles, and now this is where they stored the barbed wire, which apparently there's over 1,000 variations, and then how they branded the cows, and now we're on to some sculptures. So definitely check out this museum. It's definitely worth a visit if you're ever in Oklahoma. I'm glad that I stumbled across it. Thanks for watching.